Everyone talks about overnight success, but nobody talks about the 10 years of nights that came before the success. You see the championship, but you don't see the 10,000 hours of practice. You see the $1 million business, but you don't see the 1,000 days of losses. You see the perfect relationship, but you don't see the daily choice to love when love feels impossible. The most dangerous myth in our culture is that successful people are different from you and me. They're not. They just decided that being consistent was more important than being comfortable. And they made that decision every single day for years while everyone else made excuses. Success isn't a talent you're born with. It's a habit you develop. There's a tree in China that grows for 4 years and shows absolutely nothing above ground. Nothing. You could walk past it every single day for 4 years and think it's dead. You might even dig it up, frustrated by its apparent failure to grow. But if you understood what was happening beneath the surface, you would never doubt its potential. This tree, the Chinese bamboo, spends 4 years developing the most sophisticated root system on earth. In the 5th year, something miraculous happens. In just 6 weeks, it shoots up 90 feet into the sky. The question is not whether the bamboo grew 90 feet in 6 weeks. The question is whether it grew 90 feet in 5 years. You see? Without those 4 years of underground development, the 6 weeks of visible growth would be impossible. The bamboo teaches us the most profound truth about human potential and success. Greatness is not built in moments of inspiration, but in the invisible work of daily consistency. Right now, as I speak to you, there are people who started something 4 years ago that you cannot see. They have been watering their dreams with daily discipline while others gave up after the first season of no visible results. They understood something that most people never learn. Consistency is not about what happens to you. It's about what happens in you every single day. You make choices that either build your future or destroy it. Most people think success comes from the big decisions, the dramatic moments, the lightning strikes of opportunity. But I want to tell you something that will change how you see your life forever. Your future is not determined by the decisions you make once in a while. It's determined by the decisions you make every single day. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is not talent, not luck, not connections. It's consistency. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Most people are willing to be consistent when they feel motivated. Winners are consistent when they feel terrible. Think about your body right now. Every cell in your body was created by consistency. Your heart doesn't beat only when it feels like it. Your lungs don't breathe only when the conditions are perfect. Your digestive system doesn't work only when you're happy. These systems understand something your mind fights against. Excellence is not an event. It's a habit. But here's what most people don't understand about consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. You don't have to be perfect every day, but you must be intentional every day. A river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Drop by drop, day by day, it wears away the hardest stone. Your dreams are waiting for the same kind of persistent, consistent pressure. I've watched thousands of people start with tremendous enthusiasm and fade away within weeks. They wanted the results of consistency without the requirement of consistency. They wanted the bamboo to grow 90 feet in the first week. But nature doesn't work that way, and neither does success. The compound interest of consistency works in every area of your life. If you read 10 pages of a good book every day, that's 3.65 pages a year. That's 12 to 15 books annually. In 10 years, you'll have read 150 books, while your friends are still talking about the books they plan to read someday. If you save just $5 every day, that's $1.83 per year, 20 years with compound interest. That small daily discipline becomes a substantial financial foundation. But consistency does something even more powerful than build external results. It builds internal strength. every time you do what you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like doing it. You make a deposit in your character account. You prove to yourself that you are trustworthy. You develop the most valuable asset any human being can possess. Self-respect based on self-discipline. Most people live their lives by feelings. If they feel like exercising, they exercise. If they feel like studying, they study. If they feel like being kind to their spouse, they're kind. But feelings are the most unreliable foundation for building a life. Feelings change with the weather, with your health, with your circumstances. Consistent people have learned to live by commitment, not by feelings. Here's what I want you to understand. Your current life is the sum total of your daily habits if you want to change your life. You don't need to change everything at once. You need to change one thing consistently. The person you will be in 5 years is being created by what you do every day right now. The tragedy is not that people fail to achieve their dreams. The tragedy is that they give up on their dreams right before the breakthrough. They stop watering the bamboo in year 4. They quit when they're 3 feet from gold. They abandon the daily disciplines right before those disciplines would have transformed their lives. But you don't have to be one of those people. You can be the person who understands that every day matters, that every choice counts, that every small action is building towards something magnificent. You can be the person who waters the bamboo for 4 years because you believe in the harvest that's coming. Success is not a destination you arrive at. It's a way of traveling. It's not something you achieve once. It's something you practice daily. And the beautiful thing about consistency is that it's available to everyone. You don't need special talent, extraordinary circumstances, or perfect conditions. You just need the decision to start and the discipline to continue. Your bamboo is growing right now, even if you can't see it. Keep watering it with daily discipline. And get ready for the season when your consistency breaks through the surface and astonishes the world. There was a woman named Maria who lived in a small town where everyone knew everyone else's business. She had a dream that seemed impossible to everyone around her. She wanted to build the finest bakery in the region. But Maria had no money, no investors, no business experience. What she had was flour, yeast, and an unshakable belief in the power of doing one thing well every single day. Maria started with 1 loaf of bread. Every morning at 4 o'clock, she would wake up and bake 1 perfect loaf. She would take that loaf to the local market and sell it. 1 loaf. People laughed. They said, "Maria, you'll never build a business selling 1 loaf of bread a day." But Maria understood something they didn't. She wasn't building a business on 1 loaf of bread. She was building a business on the habit of excellence. Repeated daily. After the first month, she sold 1 loaf a day. The second month, word spread about the quality of her bread, and she started selling 2 loaves. By the third month, she was selling 5 loaves daily. People began to wait for Maria's bread. They would arrive at the market early just to make sure they didn't miss out. Within a year, Maria was baking 50 loaves a day and had hired her first assistant. But here's what nobody saw. Maria never changed her wake-up time. 4 o'clock every morning, she was in her kitchen. She never compromised on quality. She never took shortcuts. She never said, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'll do extra tomorrow to make up for today." She understood that her success was not built on the loaves she baked, but on the habit of baking them consistently. 5 years later, Maria owned 3 bakeries, employed 24 people, and had become the most successful baker in the entire region. When reporters asked her for the secret of her success, she would smile and say, "I never tried to bake 1,000 loaves. I just tried to bake 1 loaf perfectly, every single day for 5 years." This is the compound effect of daily habits. Small actions, repeated consistently over time, create results that seem impossible to those who don't understand the principle. Most people want to plant corn and harvest it the same day. They want to exercise once and have the body of an athlete. They want to save money once and become wealthy. They want to be kind to their spouse once and have a perfect marriage. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards consistency. Life pays compound interest on daily deposits of discipline. The person who reads 15 minutes every day will eventually know more than the person who reads 8 hours once a month. The person who exercises 20 minutes daily will be healthier than the person who exercises 4 hours once a week. The person who saves $10 every day will be wealthier than the person who saves $300 once a month. Why? Because consistency creates momentum. And momentum creates exponential results. When you do something every day, you're not just building skill, you're building identity. You're not just creating results, you're creating the person who naturally creates those results. Maria didn't just become a successful baker. She became the type of person who succeeds at whatever she touches because she learned the secret of daily discipline. She developed the character that success requires. She built the mental muscle that turns dreams into reality. Most people are waiting for the perfect moment to start. They're waiting for motivation, for better circumstances, for more time, for more money, for more knowledge. But perfect moments don't exist. There are only present moments. And present moments are where futures are built. The compound effect works because it transforms the impossible into the inevitable. When you commit to doing something small every day, you're not just working toward a goal, you're becoming the person who naturally achieves that goal. The daily habit changes you from the inside out. Think about the areas of your life where you want to see change. Your health, your relationships, your finances, your career, your personal development. The question is not whether you can transform these areas. The question is whether you're willing to make small, consistent investments in these areas every single day. The beautiful thing about the compound effect is that it's completely fair. It doesn't care about your background, your education, your connections, or your current circumstances. It only cares about your consistency. Give it small daily deposits, and it will give you extraordinary results over time. But here's the challenge. The compound effect is invisible in the beginning. Just like Maria's first loaf seemed insignificant, your first day of new habits will seem meaningless. The compound effect requires faith in the process when you can't see the progress. This is where most people fail. They start strong, but when they don't see immediate results, they quit. They abandon the daily discipline right before it would have transformed their lives. They trade the compound effect for instant gratification. And they spend their lives wondering why success seems to come so easily to others. Thomas Edison understood something about consistency that most people never learn. When he was working on the light bulb, he didn't fail 10 times. He found 10 ways that didn't work. Each experiment wasn't a failure, it was feedback. Each attempt wasn't a setback, it was a step forward. Edison knew that consistency wasn't just about doing the same thing every day. It was about learning from every day and getting better. But here's what nobody talks about when they tell Edison's story. There were nights when he went home frustrated, discouraged, and ready to quit. There were mornings when he didn't want to go back to his laboratory. There were weeks when it seemed like he was wasting his time chasing an impossible dream. Edison faced the same valley of discouragement that every consistent person must walk through. The valley of discouragement is that place between starting and succeeding where most dreams die. It's the place where your initial enthusiasm has worn off, but your results haven't shown up yet. It's where you've been consistent for weeks or months, but you can't see any progress. It's where the voice in your head starts whispering, this isn't working. You're wasting your time. You should quit while you're behind. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has walked through this valley. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not that successful people don't face discouragement. It's that they keep walking when discouraged people turn around. The valley of discouragement is actually where your character gets built. It's where you discover what you're really made of. Anyone can be consistent when they're seeing results. Anyone can keep going when progress is obvious. But it takes a special kind of person to be consistent when nothing seems to be happening. This is where consistency becomes more than a strategy. It becomes a statement about who you are. Every day you choose to continue when you want to quit. You're declaring that you believe in yourself more than you believe in your circumstances. You're saying that your commitment is stronger than your comfort. You're proving that your dreams matter more than your temporary feelings. But the valley of discouragement serves another purpose. It eliminates your competition. While you're walking through the valley, staying consistent despite not seeing results. Most other people are quitting. They're giving up on their dreams, abandoning their goals, and settling for less than they're capable of. Your willingness to stay consistent in the valley is what separates you from the crowd. The secret to surviving the valley of discouragement is to remember that growth is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. Just like the bamboo tree spending 4 years developing its root system underground, your consistency is building something powerful beneath the surface. Your daily disciplines are creating internal strength, developing skills, building character, and preparing you for opportunities that haven't arrived yet. Every day you stay consistent in the valley, you're making deposits in your future. You're building the foundation that will support the success that's coming. You're developing the capacity to handle the blessings that are on their way. Most importantly, you're becoming the person who deserves the life you're working toward. The valley of discouragement is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's showing you what you're capable of. It's revealing your true strength. It's preparing you for the success that's coming by making sure you have the character to handle it when it arrives. Don't let the valley fool you into thinking you're not making progress. Every day you choose consistency over comfort, you're moving forward, even when you can't see it. Every day you choose discipline over discouragement, you're getting stronger, even when you don't feel it. Every day you choose to continue when others quit, you're positioning yourself for the breakthrough that's coming. Let me tell you about the power of 1 penny. If I offered you $1 million right now, or 1 penny that doubles every day for 31 days, which would you choose? Most people would grab the $1 million and run. But if you understood the multiplication principle, you would take the penny without hesitation. Because that penny, doubling consistently for 31 days, becomes over $10 million. Day 1, 1 penny. Day 2, 2 pennies. Day 10, $5.12. Most people would be laughing at you by day 10. They would think you made the worst deal in history. But something powerful happens around day 20. That penny becomes over $5,000. By day 25, it's over $300,000. And on day 31, it explodes to over $10 million. This is exactly how consistency works in your life. The results don't add up, they multiply up. Your daily disciplines don't just create small improvements. They create exponential transformation. But just like the penny, the real power doesn't show up until later in the process. When you're consistent with your health, you're not just improving your body, you're increasing your energy, which improves your productivity, which enhances your income, which reduces your stress, which strengthens your relationships, which boosts your confidence, which opens new opportunities. One area of consistency multiplies into every area of your life. When you're consistent with learning, you're not just gaining knowledge, you're developing the habit of growth, which makes you more valuable, which creates better opportunities, which increases your income, which gives you more resources to learn more, which accelerates your growth even faster. The multiplication principle turns your consistency into a powerful upward spiral. But here's what most people don't understand. The multiplication principle works in reverse too. When you're inconsistent in one area, it doesn't just affect that area. It multiplies negatively into every other area. When you're inconsistent with your health, you lose energy, which hurts your productivity, which affects your income, which creates stress, which damages your relationships, which destroys your confidence, which closes opportunities. This is why consistent people seem to succeed at everything they touch, while inconsistent people struggle in every area. It's not that consistent people are naturally gifted in every area. It's that consistency in one area creates a multiplication effect that lifts every other area. The multiplication principle explains why some people can transform their entire lives in just a few years of focused consistency, while others spend decades making little progress. It's not about working harder. It's about understanding that every consistent action you take is an investment that pays compound interest across your entire life. Your daily habits are not just shaping your future. They are shaping you. Every day you choose to be consistent. You're building the internal infrastructure that supports success in every area. You're developing the discipline muscle that works in all situations. You're creating the momentum that carries you through challenges and toward opportunities. The beautiful thing about the multiplication principle is that it makes consistency easier over time, not harder. In the beginning, every consistent action requires effort and willpower. But as the multiplication effect kicks in, your consistent actions start creating results that motivate more consistent actions. Success starts feeding on success. Consistency starts building more consistency. This is why people who succeed in one area often succeed in multiple areas. They've learned to harness the multiplication principle. They understand that consistency is not just a tool for achieving goals. It's a way of life that multiplies everything good and minimizes everything negative. There was a man named Samuel who worked as a night security guard at a large office building every night while the city slept. Samuel walked the empty hallways, checking doors, monitoring cameras, and keeping watch over other people's dreams. Most people saw Samuel's job as ordinary, even boring. But Samuel saw something different. He saw an opportunity to build something extraordinary through the power of daily consistency. Samuel had a dream that seemed impossible for a night security guard with a high school education and no connections. He wanted to become a real estate investor, not just someone who owned a house, but someone who owned multiple properties and created generational wealth for his family. People laughed when he shared his dream. They said, "Samuel, you need money to make money in real estate. You need connections. You need education. You're just a security guard." But Samuel understood something they didn't. He understood that every expert was once a beginner and every millionaire was once broke. He understood that the gap between where he was and where he wanted to be could be bridged by daily consistency, one small step at a time. So Samuel created what he called his legacy routine. Every morning after his security shift ended, instead of going straight home to sleep, Samuel would spend 1 hour learning about real estate. He would read books, watch educational videos, study market trends, and analyze property values. 1 hour every day, while his co-workers went home to sleep or watched television. Samuel invested in his future. The first year was hard. Samuel was tired from working all night, and learning about real estate felt overwhelming. There were terms he didn't understand, concepts that seemed foreign, and strategies that appeared too complex for someone like him. Many mornings, he wanted to skip his study hour and just go to sleep. But Samuel had made a commitment to himself, and he kept it. By the second year, something started to change. The real estate concepts that once seemed impossible began to make sense. Samuel started recognizing opportunities that others missed. He began to see patterns in the market that weren't obvious to casual observers. His daily hour of learning was transforming him from a security guard who dreamed about real estate into someone who actually understood real estate. In the third year, Samuel took his first action. He had saved enough money for a small down payment on a duplex in a neighborhood that others overlooked, but that Samuel recognized as undervalued. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He bought the duplex, lived in one side and rented out the other side. The rental income helped pay the mortgage, and Samuel continued his daily learning routine. But Samuel didn't stop there. Every morning, He continued to spend that hour learning, growing, and planning his next move. He studied successful investors, analyzed market trends, and identified emerging opportunities. His daily consistency had given him something more valuable than money. It had given him expertise. Over the next 5 years, Samuel acquired 6 more properties. Each purchase was carefully planned, thoroughly researched, and strategically executed. His co-workers watched in amazement as the night security guard became a successful real estate investor. They asked him for his secret, expecting some complex strategy or hidden advantage. Samuel would smile and say, "I just decided to spend 1 hour every day becoming the person I wanted to be." By his 10th year of daily consistency, Samuel owned 12 rental properties and had built a real estate portfolio worth over $2 million. He had created the generational wealth he dreamed of. But more importantly, he had become a completely different person. The shy, uncertain security guard had transformed into a confident, knowledgeable investor who could see opportunities where others saw problems. Samuel's story teaches us the most important truth about consistency. It's not just about what you accomplish. It's about who you become in the process. Every day you choose to be consistent, you're not just working toward your goals. You're building your legacy. You're creating the person who naturally creates the life you want. Your legacy is not something you leave behind when you die. Your legacy is something you're building every single day while you live. Every choice you make, every habit you maintain, every commitment you keep is a contribution to the legacy you're creating. The question is not whether you're building a legacy. The question is what kind of legacy. Most people think about legacy in terms of big moments, dramatic achievements, and grand gestures. But real legacy is built in the ordinary moments, the daily choices, the small consistencies that nobody sees but that shape everything. Your legacy is built when you choose to keep your word to yourself when nobody else is watching. Your legacy is built when you do the right thing even when it's difficult. Your legacy is built when you stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. The most powerful thing about living your legacy daily is that it transforms the present moment. When you understand that every day matters, every choice counts, and every consistent action is building something magnificent, you stop living in the future and start living with purpose right now. You stop waiting for someday and start building today. This is your moment to decide, not someday, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel more motivated. Right now, will you be like Samuel, who decided that 1 hour a day could transform his entire life? Will you be like Maria, who understood that baking one perfect loaf daily could build an empire? Will you be like the bamboo tree, willing to develop your roots in the darkness so you can shoot toward the sky when the time is right? The path to your dreams is not paved with occasional bursts of effort or sporadic moments of inspiration. It's paved with daily consistency, small actions repeated over time, and the courage to keep going when results aren't visible. Your future self is waiting for you to make the decision to be consistent. Your legacy is waiting for you to start building it one day at a time. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for motivation. Start being consistent. Start building your legacy. Start becoming the person who naturally creates the life you want. Because consistency doesn't just win in the end. Consistency wins every single day. And every single day is when your legacy is truly built.